Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. If you're new to our channel, we are the Knott Homestead and our videos are just about us learning as we grow. We're kind of doing some first time projects and growing some vegetables for the first time, and we're just taking y'all along with us and showing y'all what we're learning and all that fun stuff. So if you haven't already subscribed to our channel, today's video we're going to be showing y'all how to plant strawberries in raised beds. There are several different... Are you drinking water?
Sorry, I got real thirsty.
There's several different ways you can plant strawberries. You can plant them in containers, raised bed, in the ground, or towers even. But in today's video, we're showing you some tips and tricks of what we're doing and how we're planting our strawberries in raised beds. This is our 7 by 4 foot bed made out of pallet boards that we just had on hand, and we're just filling it with dirt. Okay, so now that we've unloaded the dirt, we're going to kind of start over and talk about the strawberries in general. So the strawberries, there's two main types of strawberries. There is a June bearing, also called a short day variety, and those strawberries are going to have one big harvest, usually early spring, June, and then they're over with. And then there's the everbearing variety or long day variety, and those kind of have a prolonged harvest throughout the summer, even into the fall. And so that last variety, the everbearing, that's the variety that we have. We have everbearing sequoias, and so maybe next year we can do both, but this year we only have the one variety. So throughout the summer we'll be able to come out here and pick some versus, you know, just having one big harvest.
Now there's two types, or there's two ways to buy your strawberry plants. You can buy them the way we bought them. These are already emerged from the soil and they're already growing. We bought these at a nursery fairly cheap. Another way to do it, which is usually the cheaper method of the two, is to buy them dormant. It's called bare root, and actually it'll just be it's called a rhizome. It'll be the crown itself and some roots on it, and they'll all come in a big bag, and you plant those in the wintertime before they break dormancy, and then they'll come up. You'll see them come up out of the ground, kind of like a potato does. You don't see it till it comes up out of the ground. But we decided we just wanted to go ahead and buy the plants already going, because I mean it really wasn't that much more at the nursery we bought them at as dormant ones. So we just went ahead and got these. Jed's eating leaves, by the way. All right, here's a pro tip for y'all. When you're buying these plants like this, especially vegetables and other things, if you will look at the pots carefully, you can see there's two separate plants in there, and that's just getting more bang for your buck. Anything that you buy vegetable wise, or even these strawberries like this, always look in your pots and see if you can find pots that have multiple plants in there, because that's just more plants you're getting for less money.
Okay, so for the soil, they love a good fertile soil, and so what we're using is the same thing that we used in our potato video. If you didn't already have a chance to check out our potato video, I'll link it right here so you can go back and watch that. But in that video we explained how we use a landscape mix from our local landscape company. It's got a mixture of sand, topsoil, mulch, and compost already mixed in, so it's a good fertile soil. So strawberries are very heavy feeders, and what we're going to do is we're going to sprinkle in this organic blood meal that we just picked up, and what that's going to do is it's going to give them a big burst of nitrogen. The strawberries, that nitrogen is going to be so good for them as far as development wise. It's going to go in there, the strawberries are going to soak it up, and it's going to promote good, strong, healthy plants. And so strawberries really need that nitrogen, and so that's how we're going to give them that, is by, you know, sprinkling the blood meal through it. So strawberries grow best in like a soil level of pH of 5.5 to 7. Now this, we've already tested this pH level. It was about like a 6.5.
Yeah, right around 6.5 pH.
So they'll do good in that, but however, they do prefer slightly acidic soil. And so there's several ways you can make your soil acidic. Now, if your soil's already very acidic for some reason, of course you can use lime to increase that, but most of everyone like us is actually going to need to lower that pH. So there's tons of things you can do to lower it. You can use sulfur, and over the years it will lower that pH. You can use liquid fertilizer, and it can, lower it over a few months. But what we're going to do is more, I guess, of an organic approach. We're just going to use what we have. We're going to use pine straw as mulch. The pine straws are acidic to the soil, and then we're also going to sprinkle in some of our used coffee grounds from the house. They're not as acidic as coffee grounds without being used, but they still have some acidic value to them. And of course, they release nitrogen into the soil. So that's what we're going to do to just get that soil a little bit more acidic than it already is. But other than that, they should be good to go.
All right, now let's talk about planting our strawberries. Strawberries absolutely love sun. You cannot give strawberries enough sun, but they can tolerate slight shade. So if you don't have a direct sun spot that has sun all day long, that's okay. Go ahead and plant them. They may not produce as many berries, but they're still going to produce for you. So we're going to go ahead and plant them. Now these plants, we want to space them out pretty good. I don't know if I mentioned earlier, but this is a 7-foot by 4-foot bed. That was the full length of the boards I had was 7 foot, so I just worked with what I had. We're going to put these plants on a 1-foot spacing because later on, when they're established, they will send out runners from the mother plant and they will fill in the spots where it's bare. So we're going to put them on 1-foot spacing so they got plenty of room to get established and get the roots put down in the ground. Already blooming. Now you do want to make sure that you water your strawberry plants good the night before you plant them so that they're good and full of water so they can handle the transplant stress. All right, we're ready to plant them. Now to take them out of these little pots, you want to kind of go around it and squeeze it a little bit and then kind of put 2 or 3 fingers there on the top and dump your plant out. Now these have been in the pot for a little bit, so they're starting to get a little bit root bound. You just want to kind of take your fingers and just kind of pluck at those roots a little bit to get them to kind of loosen up where they're not circling around in the hole when you plant them. That could be detrimental to your plant.
You want to be careful. You don't want to just, yank them off.
Now, another important thing about these strawberries is you don't want to plant them too deep on the crown or it will actually kill the plant. So with these, it's kind of easy because they already had them planted at the right depth. But if you order dormant bare root, you want to look and see where the soil line was before and don't plant any lower than that. All right, to prepare your hole to plant these, you just kind of want to stick your hand in and pull it back a little bit and then drop your plant in. Don't forget, don't backfill too much where you cover your crown up. You want to leave them a little high because we're going to come back and mulch with pine straw.
Okay, so we've got them all planted. Now Jake is going to go around and just put about half a teaspoon of this blood meal around each plant next to the drip line where they get water from. And then I'm going to go around with these old coffee grounds, same thing, sprinkle some around the plants. And once again, this is for the blood meal is for nitrogen, and then this coffee ground is for acidics, to make the soil more acidic, and then also to help with the nitrogen also. So that's what we're about to do right now.
All right, I'm gonna show y'all about how much half a teaspoon is. You're gonna take a pinch about that big and put it in your palm like that. And then you can just take that and sprinkle it around your plant, kind of around the edge of it where the drip line would be. You're gonna wanna go do that around every single plant. It doesn't have to be precise. You just don't wanna dump a whole bunch on them all at once. All right, we're real sorry guys, but our camera shut off in the middle of this. We were actually showing y'all how to put down the mulch and all that, but we're gonna go back over it now. We are using pine straw because we're in the land of the pines, and that's the most readily available thing we have around here. Most people will use a garden straw that you can buy at your local garden center. I think all it is wheat chaff, and you just want to go in and put it around your plants fairly deep. You don't want to be able to see any soil through it, and you just want to kind of take it and tuck it in under your plants like you're putting them to bed. And what this will do is it will help keep moisture in your soil, especially during the summertime when it gets a little dry and hot, and it will keep your berries up off the ground where they're not getting dirty. It will also help keep pests and some bugs off of them. And over time, this pine straw will break down into the soil and slowly acidify, which will help the berries even more because they like it slightly acidic. And we'll just come back every spring and add fresh mulch as needed. And that's just something you do with these strawberries, you know.
Yep. And we put them in straw because they're strawberries. So now we're gonna water these. How much you gonna water them, Jake?
I don't know, Kelsey.
We're gonna water them probably a lot. It gets really hot here. They have a shallow root system, so you don't want to stress them out by not getting enough water, but you kind of got to be careful and not drown them. So I think a good rule of thumb is about 1 inch a week when they're in the vegetative stage, but when they start fruiting, to double that is what I've heard. But like I said, it gets really hot here, so we're really going to have to monitor that and stay on top of it, and make sure they're not drying out. Another thing is, once they put off their berries, you can kind of come out here and look at your berries, and you can kind of tell if you're giving them enough water when they're putting off those berries. If your berries are really shiny, then they're well hydrated and you're doing a good job. But if you come out here and they're dull, then that means they're dehydrated and you need to water them some more. So that's kind of a fun little way to tell.
All right, let's talk about some recommendations of what you should do after you plant your strawberries in the first year. Strawberries are very cool because they will actually send out runners off of the mother plant, and wherever that touches the ground, a new strawberry plant will start there. And you can kind of pull your mulch back where that thing comes out and kind of touch it to the ground, and it'll start growing roots there. And once it has established roots, you can come back and cut the umbilical cord from the mother plant, and then you will have a new strawberry plant in that spot. You can either let it grow and fill in the bed where bare spots are, or you can repot those and put them somewhere else, and you got a free strawberry plant.
Yep.
Now what we are going to do, it's I think March the 18th right now while we're planting them. We wanted to wait till after the frost date, which they are cold hardy, but we just thought it would be a little bit better to wait a little later.
Yeah, we're gonna cover them if it freezes again.
Yeah, if we get another late freeze, we'll come and cover them up with a sheet. But what we are going to do is I'm gonna come out here every couple days, and I'm going to pinch all the blooms off. They've been blooming for a couple weeks now. I'm gonna pinch all the blooms off and all the runners that I see coming out. You'll be able to tell the runners because it'll be a long, skinny.
Yeah, we don't have any right now.
We haven't had any yet. Well, it'll be a long, skinny leaf that comes out away from the mother plant, and it'll have a little leaf cluster on the end. You may even see a couple roots beginning to start. But to say all this, we are going to pinch all the blooms and the runners off until June. We're in March now. We're going to wait till June because what we want to do is wait for these plants we want them to get established and grow a good, strong, healthy plant and get plenty of leaves on them. That way they can support berry growth.
And by doing that, you're able to kind of, all their energy, instead of putting their energy into making berries or making daughter plants, they're putting all that energy into, growing their leaf system
and developing roots.
Yeah, and so that way in June when you stop, you've let that plant, grow, and so then it can produce a good harvest for you. And you don't have to do that the first year, actually. If you wanted to in the first year, you could do it the whole first year, take off all the blooms and all the daughter plants, and that is just going to make your strawberry plant focus all of its energy on just growing the plant itself. So if you're worried about making having a strong, healthy strawberry plant, if you're not wanting berries the first year, you can certainly do that. We're wanting berries the first year, so that's why we're just gonna do it until June when they're ready to put on berries. But you can most certainly do that if you want.
And we are wanting it to make some runners, so next spring we have a bunch of more strawberry plants we can plant somewhere else, because eventually we're wanting to get a few varieties of June bearing and ever bearing. That way in the summertime we can put up enough strawberries to make it through the year, and also have ever bearings where we can come out here and munch and have fresh eating when we want to.
So yeah, these will be ripe in June. And we'll come out here and we'll pick them about every 3 days or so. They'll be really dark red. When you take them inside and pull them off the straw, or actually don't pull them off, you cut them off. And when you do that, you want to either eat them immediately or store them immediately, because as soon as you pull that strawberry off the plant, those sugars turn to starch. And that's another reason why we are planting our strawberries, and that's a good reason why you should plant your strawberries, because even though the store ones are sometimes sweet, these are bound to be more sweet than the ones that you buy at the store, because from the time that berry's been picked off that plant, by the time it drives on the truck till it gets in your grocery store, it's steadily losing its sweetness. So when you come out here and you pick a berry off of your own strawberry plant, it's going to be as sweet as it can be. So it's another reason to grow strawberries at your house. Obviously we are kind of missing one part. If you haven't noticed, we don't have any netting right now. We do have lots of birds, and birds are prone to, eat all the strawberries, as well as pests and bugs are a problem. So our goal is to we have some stakes and some hoops. We're not sure what we're going to use, but we're going to net it. That way the birds can't get in here and eat all the strawberries. And we have a few different methods of what we're planning to use as far as some natural ways to deter pests and bugs and prevent disease. But we're going to do a whole new video on that, because it might take a little bit. So be on the lookout for that if you're interested in like some natural ways to make your garden bed insect free and all that. Be watching for that. We'll also be showing our netting, how we made that structure and how we net it for the birds. So if you're interested, be on the lookout for that video. Shortly we'll be posting that soon.
All right guys, we hope y'all enjoyed this video on how to plant strawberries. We will be coming back with some more videos showing y'all our harvest and how they're growing throughout the season, and how we're going to keep pests off of them later on. But we hope y'all can find some strawberries and plant them this year, at least hopefully get a couple berries off of them. We thank y'all so much for coming and watching this video. If y'all don't mind, please like, share, and subscribe our videos so we can reach more people and hopefully grow together.
See y'all in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.